Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My question is to the Premier. A childcare centre where alleged childcare abuser Joshua Brown worked was on a high-risk watch list in the months before he worked there. After Joshua Brown was employed, the centre was taken off the high-risk watch list because it was compliant. Premier, why did the government take this centre off the high-risk watch list?
Premier.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. In answering the question from the member for Kew, I again say it is important that we speak to these matters based on evidence and fact and not assumption, and not to cast assumptions that only— Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I remind the member for Kew, although I do feel that I perhaps don't need to remind the member for Kew because I'm sure she is well aware of this. This is an independent regulator who regulates the early childhood setting. Of course, it's. Well, I will remind those opposite that government regulators are often found within government, right? And the work of those regulators, particularly in the early childhood setting, covers many centres across both the not-for-profit and for-profit childcare settings. And they work incredibly hard across all of those settings. As for why there was a change in the decision made by the regulator, well, that is a matter for the regulator in terms of how they consider. But I have acknowledged, in terms of the broader issues here, that the system does need to be strengthened, that there is more work that needs to be done, that work has been underway in this national profit and not-for-profit childcare and early childhood settings, which is why in Victoria we're not waiting for the national frameworks to be strengthened.
Premier, resume her seat. On a point of order, the Manager of Opposition Business.
Deputy Speaker, the Premier is debating the question. This is a government department and we would ask the Premier to come back to that very narrow question.
And as I was saying, as these centres operate under both the regulation that is enacted by the state but sits in that national framework, we're not waiting for that national framework to be strengthened. It's why we have already moved to have the register of early childhood workers established in this state. It's why we're moving to ban personal devices. And again, I will make it clear to the House, as a result of the urgent review that is being undertaken, if further changes need to be made, we stand ready to make them to keep children safe.
The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
Deputy Speaker, I renew the point of order that the Premier is debating the question. This is about why was a centre taken off the watch list. I would ask you to ask the Premier to come back to that question.
Premier to come back to the question. The Premier has finished her answer. On a supplementary, the member for Kew.
Does the Premier have full confidence in her government's childcare regulator?
Premier.
Deputy Speaker, and I can understand, taking all the politics and the different views, I can understand why the member for Kew has asked this question, because I know parents are asking this question. It is a deeply legitimate question. It is a challenging role of the. Because as a parent, I've asked that question as well.
Serious questions should be listened to if you want to hear answers. Premier to continue.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And again, out of respect to the member for Kew's question, it is a legitimate question that many parents are asking, and as members of parliament we are asking as well. The work that the regulator is doing is in a very challenging environment across the profit and not-for-profit sector. That is why we're having a review, and we will take the actions out of that review.